Hi, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Talk More Talk, a solo Beatles video cast. I'm Joe Mayo from the YouTube channel Mean Mr. Mayo, and I am here tonight joined by three co hosts. I'm going to start off by introducing the queen of all Beatles media, and she's an author of all kinds of things, including stuff like Songs We Were Singing, guided tours through the Beatles' lesser known tracks, fandom in the Beatles, Michael Jackson FAQ, and she has also a podcast that's called Toppermost of the Poppermost, Beatles themed, right? And other stuff. Is it just Beatles or is it other stuff from the
It's
60s?
Beatles and their contemporaries on the charts at the same time that they
Contemporary.
are.
So I got that little opening there for you.
There you go.
And I'm talking about the one, the only Kid O'Toole. Hey, Kid.
Joe, Tom, and our mystery guest who is so kindly bowing to me
Yeah,
at
we'll get to him.
this moment. Hello,
Yeah.
hello, and hello, everybody out there.
Mhm. Next up, we have one of two legs. He has the Paul McCartney show that they do on YouTube and elsewhere too. It's on all kinds of platforms called Two Legs, and one half is none other than Tom Hunyadi. That's a Paul McCartney show. For those who might not get it, he
That's
there,
right.
Tom.
Say
And
hello, Joe. Hey, quick.
what it's a special night today, as far as I'm concerned. Is this a first for this show here that we have this guest on? Yeah, he's nodding. We
No.
have the other leg.
Mhm.
We have his the backwards traveler of
That's right.
Tom, his partner, who also on two legs, the McCartney show. Talking about Andy Nicholes, who joins us here, and we'll tell you why. Hello, Andy. He also has a show called The Other Leg. Andy's
Music Vault.
Music Vault, another show. Andy Nicholes.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Kit. And hi,
Hello, hello.
Tom. And thanks for having me on tonight. And
Welcome.
pinch hitting, as it were, for
Yeah.
your regular co-host tonight, Ken
Yeah,
Michaels.
this is a warm up to see if you could replace Ken Michaels. No,
He's-
just kidding. Just kidding.
no,
Kidding.
no.
Just a little levity to break the tension. Okay.
And tell everybody, why is Ken not
yeah,
here?
you might
A
be
pretty
wondering
damn
why.
good reason.
Well,
Yeah.
a very good reason. Ken was invited to a screening of the new Let It Be presentation with Michael Lindsay Hogg giving a talk as well. If anybody knows any more details about that, want to share it, please
He was
do.
doing a
That's all.
Q&A. Yeah, he was doing a 30-minute Q&A before before the movie premiere. So,
Mhm.
Where's the premiere?
well, it's not a premiere. It's really just a screening.
But where? Do we know?
Well, I mean, if I say, then everybody's going to go there, and they're not going to watch this.
Okay.
Secret.
Yeah, yeah.
All I know is I'm as green with envy as this background. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's a great gig, and good for him. So it's important.
Mhm.
So there we go. Tonight we're going to be talking about Ringo's latest EP. Tom always beat me to it. Called Crooked Boy. Yes, indeed. Is this EP number 5 for Ringo? I think it is
4.
4.
No,
5 or 4?
Well, for Andy, it might be 2, 3. I'm going to
He's
save
right.
that. I'm going to.
He's right with that.
I'm going to save that a little bit, but we'll have some fun with that. Yeah, brand new. Well, we just had that come out for Record Store Day on April 20th. I think May 31st is going to be like the official release, so to speak, where we're going to get the CD
right.
and maybe the black vinyl as well.
Yeah, and that will be also 12-inch as well, because his last three EPs have been 10-inch EPs, whereas the first EP was 12-inch. And you know how Joe and I like our uniformity; we like everything to be the same on the shelf. But looks like Ringo is having a little fun with us on this time around.
Yeah, it's going to be booked if he doesn't do any more EPs, because supposedly he's going to be working on a full length album. That's kind of weird because we're going to have Zoom In is like
Right.
12-inch, then we're going
Right.
to have like a few 10-inch records, and then
Right.
the other one bookend is going to be Crooked Boy, which is another 12-inch. I like the 10-inch format. I do. I know it's a novelty. I love it. I collect 10-inch records actually. A lot. Whenever I can get them, it doesn't matter whether it's
Big
Benny
10-inch.
Goodman, Sinatra, those ragtime, anything.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I like that. So we're going to be discussing the new EP, but before we do, we have some news. Even though Ken's not here, he usually handles the news. Uh, Kit is going to be tackling this news, and I'm sure she'll do a great job. So,
Oh,
Kit, why don't you
oh,
fill us in on some Beatles stuff that's going on?
oh, no pressure. Okay. And it's not as long tonight. It's there isn't as quite as much going on, but I will do my best to make Ken proud. Okay. So, starting off, many of you know this already, but Yoko Ono will be receiving the Edward McDowell Medal in a ceremony this summer in New Hampshire. One of the United States' leading artist residency programs, McDowell has awarded a Lifetime Achievement Prize to Yoko Ono. The groundbreaking artist, filmmaker, and musician is the 2024 recipient of the Edward McDowell Medal, an honor previously given to Stephen Sondheim and Toni Morrison, among others. The McDowell board chair, Neil Painter, said in a statement on Sunday, "There has never been anyone like her. There has never been work like hers. Over some 7 decades, she has rewarded eyes, provoked thought, inspired feminists, and defended migrants through works of a wide-ranging imagination. Enduringly fresh and pertinent, her uniquely powerful oeuvre speaks to our own times, so sorely needed of her leitmotif, peace." Ono's son, Sean Ono Lennon, said in a statement that the medal was an incredible honor. "The history and list of past recipients is truly remarkable. It makes me very proud to see her art appreciated and celebrated in this way." And certainly glad to see that this is being done while she's still with us and can appreciate it. So congratulations to a great artist. Okay, next on Paul Meyer's podcast show, The Record Store Day, Danny Harrison was a special guest. He spoke about his latest album, Understanding, which I reviewed recently for Beatle Fan Magazine. If you want to check that out, I forget the exact issue number. His role as the president of Dark Horse Records, the Record Store Day releases of Wonderwall music and electronic sound. Tom, you got those, right? You picked that up.
I almost beat him with
and
the other one.
and Joe, you got it too. I didn't know that.
I was gonna pass, but it looked so darn cool. I said whenever other people were showing them. So
yep, they are. Those were really cool. And also said that he's working on archival sets for the concert for Bangladesh and Living in the Material World, with no dates given for either release.
Of course, no dates given.
It's going to be right after Early Takes Volume 2.
That's right.
Please.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I've talked about this before. If you go to George Harrison's YouTube channel, there is a clip of the Ravi Shankar track where it had been restored, and it looks wonderful. So I'm hoping that we're going to get a video release of these shows, or bits and pieces of the show, or whatever. But it looks fantastic, and I'm looking forward to a Blu-ray release. I mean, I think we've all got the DVD, right, of the Bangladesh.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, well, let's hope we'll be seeing both of those in the near future. The next one, this is something I'm excited about, and Andy and Tom, I think you both have this already. Luca Perassi, a good friend of all of ours, his latest book on Paul McCartney, called Band on the Run, the story of a classic album, has just been released. Luca told Ken Michaels that he wants to release his follow-up to Paul McCartney, Music is Ideas, excellent reference book covering all of Paul's music through 1989, but it won't come out until Paul's next studio album is released. So, yep. So that will be coming out sometime in the future, but be sure to check out his latest book, Band on the Run, the story of a classic album. I can't wait to pick that up. Next, according to DMME.net, Eric Clapton has a new live album out, digitally called To Save a Child. This is from a concert he gave to an intimate audience in London from December 8th. And the concert, as well as this release, is said to benefit the children of the Gaza Strip. On the live album, he covers George Harrison's Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth, and he is accompanied on this live performance by Danny Harrison. It will be coming out on July 12th on vinyl, CD, and Blu-ray. And thanks to our good friend, Tom Brennan, for that tip. There will be an all-new documentary film on the Beach Boys premiering on Disney Plus called simply The Beach Boys. And its trailer includes appearances and commentaries from Paul McCartney, Don Was, Ryan Tedder, Hal Blaine, and also new and archival clips from members of the group. That will start airing on May 24th. And thanks to our friend Scott O'Rourke for that tip. I cannot wait for this documentary. I'm renewing my membership for Disney Plus for that. Let It Be, and the Jim Henson documentary.
And the Jim Henson one. Yeah, I need to get the Disney Plus again as well. So
yep.
Yeah.
I never got rid of it from Get Back. I meant to, but I just haven't. So I've been paying all these years, couple of years.
Wow. So well, there you go. You're all set.
Boy.
You're all set for all this.
It's worth it. It's worth it to keep.
I still got to try to figure out how to do it with the bleep bleep.
Yeah, but hey, good thing you still have it, because all this wonderful stuff is coming up.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, here we go. Graham Goldman will have a new solo album coming out called I Have Notes, coming out on July 5th. The 10cc musician, who was also part of Ringo's All Stars a few years back, I saw him on this tour. He was fantastic. Will also have Ringo playing drums on one song called Couldn't Love You More, which is said to be inspired by the Fab Four. Other stars collaborating with Goldman on the album include Brian May, Albert Lee, and Hank Marvin. 10cc are embarking on a new tour of which Graham is the only original member. And that is also from Scott O'Rourke. So thank you, Scott, for those tips. Next, Julian Lennon will have a new book out of his photography called Life's Fragile Moments on September 9th. Amazon UK says the images range from picturesque landscapes to urban street scenes, with each shot seeming to tell its own story. This diversity allows the reader to experience the unique perspective of a man who successfully combines different creative worlds. Yet the book is more than just a visual presentation. It opens the door to Julian Lennon's world of thoughts. The illustrated book provides deep insights into the artist's creative process, his inspirations, and emotions. And lastly, this was quite a story that came up this week. Pretty amazing. John Lennon's long-lost hootenanny 12-string acoustic guitar, lost for over 50 years, has just been discovered in the attic of a rural family home outside of London. It is the guitar John Lennon played in the movie Help for You've Gotta Hide Your Love Away. It was also used on several Beatles songs, including It's Only Love, I've Just Seen a Face, Girl, and Norwegian Wood. Unbelievable. It is about to be sold by Julian's Auctions and is set to go under the hammer as part of Julian's Music Icon series on May 29th through the 30th. Executive Director Darren Julian said that John gifted the guitar to Gordon Waller of Peter and Gordon, who later gave it to its current owners. For the past 5 decades, it has not been played. Now,
everybody in the UK is now running up to their attic to see if they have anything.
I was just about to say this. Folks, who would forget and say, oh, yeah, I got this guitar from John Lennon, some years ago. Oh, yeah, that's in my attic.
Like, really?
And I saw a picture of Ringo with the guitar.
Yes. Yes, I saw that. Yep.
Yeah.
So just a lesson, ladies and gentlemen, always check your attics, because you never know what's up there. There you go. Before we move on to our main topic, hand it back to Joe. We lost a very notable musician this week. And Andy, I'm passing it to you and tell us about that.
Yeah, just this past week, we lost legendary founding member of the Moody Blues, and that was Mike Pinder, who died at 82 after a battle of dementia for the last couple of years. Mike Pinder was a founding member of the Moody Blues with Denny Lane and Clint Warwick and Graham Edge, and stayed with the band through their crazy successful times in the 70s and left. But the Beatle connection is he actually plays on Imagine. He plays tambourine on I Don't Want to Be a Soldier, Mama. If you pull out your Imagine inner sleeve, you'll see Mike Pinder credited on there. He was also hugely influential for the Beatles for his use of the Mellotron. And obviously, with Strawberry Fields, that was a major, major influence for them. But of course, their early, especially early Moody's albums, were very influenced by the Beatles with Days of Future Past, all around that time. So he was 82 and kept a really good relationship with Denny Lane throughout his whole life, too. So there's kind of like a Beatles, Lennon, Wings connection with Mike Pinder. And he's now gone at 82. So rest in peace, Mike.
Thank you, Andy. So yeah, we just definitely wanted to mark that as an incredible musician, certainly a great figure in well, not just British music history, but rock music history.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ken, for compiling the news for this week and for people who contributed tips for us. We appreciate that. So, Joe, back to you.
All right. Okay, so we're going to talk about Crooked Boy, the EP that came out on Record Store Day at this point of Ringo Starr. And I guess to start with, what we have to say is that this is a Linda Perry work, really, with Ringo, because she wrote all 4 tracks on here for Ringo. And she said she enjoys writing for Ringo, and it's easy to write for Ringo because Ringo appeared at Amoeba Records for a little appearance with her, and and she talked about a whole bunch of things, like how the cover came to be. That she said she wanted. I'm paraphrasing here, like some kind of a sexy type of picture of Ringo or something. Thank goodness, Linda. Thank you. We don't get the peace sign again of Ringo, and so she Googled, she said, Ringo, like without a shirt or things like that, and something. And it turned out that that's what came up. So she went with that picture, which to me looks like 1964, but who knows? I'm thinking almost looks like Miami at 64 to me, but I wasn't there. So, so I don't know.
Taken by famed photographer Harry Benson, who did tour with them. So there's a lot of great photos from Harry Benson, and he's also famous for taking photos of Paul McCartney as well. So, matter of fact, he has a book of just photos of Paul and Wings, book that was released a few years back as well.
Okay, Linda, formerly from the group the Four Non Blondes, which I don't really know anything about except that I like that song that I think is called "What's Up."
Yes,
I like that song quite a bit. I like her voice, from what and when she's sings along with Ringo on some of these tracks and recent EPs and things she's written with him and also singing with him. I like the blend. To get into a little bit later on. So she wrote all 4 of these. She produced the EP, and as I understand it, I think she started out with herself and the other musicians at what was it, Greenleaf, her studio anyway, and then later on Ringo at his place, Greenleaf Studio, and then later on Ringo at his place added his bits, the drums and the vocals, which I guess by now at this point in time we're used to this, right? This is how things are done and everything. Too bad they're not all together, just doing it. But
yeah,
it's the outcome. The result is what matters, or how it sounds overall, which we're going to get into now, right? So if anybody has anything they want to add at any time, by the way, please. There's nothing formal. You just throw it. Oh yeah, another thing you thought of, or something. That's really all I've got to say about this, unless anybody else can think of anything right now. But
I just want to mention about Linda Perry. She's very interesting how, she did have that huge hit with her group, Four Non Blondes. And she's really become an incredible songwriter and producer in that she's her specialty has been kind of revitalizing and reimagining the careers of established artists. In the late 90s, early 2000s, she really did that for Pink and Christina Aguilera, particularly. Pink was, started out as an R&B artist and, wasn't really liking how that was going, and ended up collaborating. I don't remember how they connected, but Pink wanted to go in a more, kind of a rock pop direction for her next album, and collaborated with Linda Perry, and that album with songs like "Get the Party Started."
I was just going to ask you. I love that. You see, I'm
Yep.
thinking there's a connection here because
Yep.
I don't listen to that stuff.
Yep,
but
that's
I
Linda
always like that.
Perry.
I love Get This Party Started.
Got the
Absolutely
Party
love
Started.
it.
Yep, that's
And
her.
I love on I can't get the EPs mixed up with Ringo. I think it's Change the World, Coming Undone.
Yeah.
That track. I love
Yep.
that track. That's a Linda Perry track. And
Exactly.
did she take part in the writing of Here's to the Nights? Is that her as well? I'm not sure.
Oh,
No, that was
from the
Diane
first one?
Warren.
Oh,
That was
okay.
Diane Warren.
That was
Yeah.
Diane Warren.
Well, it's another woman then.
Yeah, another woman.
You
Another
know?
woman. Yeah.
I know because
Women rule. But yeah, and then when she, and that really, made Pink a major star, obviously, and hasn't stopped since. Same with Christina Aguilera. Christina, was totally pop in the beginning, and for her next album wanted something a little grittier. Turned to Linda Perry, saw what she did with Pink, and then ended up with the album Stripped, I think it was called, and with Dirty and Beautiful and all those other, and that was Linda Perry too. So it's just amazing, what she's accomplished as a songwriter and producer. She hasn't done that exactly with Ringo, but I think Ringo knows how talented she is, and as you mentioned, has collaborated with him before. But I just wanted to mention that
good.
what a track record she has.
Yeah, good choice.
And she's been wearing those crazy big hats for decades.
Yes.
Okay, so it's just not a new thing.
All right. All right, I'll take your word for that one. All right. Well, I guess there were only 4 tracks on here to talk about, and I thought maybe we would go each track because there were only 4 of them. I wanted to start with Andy because he's our special guest. But before I do that, we're going to talk about February Sky first. But in general, I wanted to ask Andy because just some friendly banter that we always do. And I know Andy can take it. We always have a joke. We joke all the time. I've been on their show and talking to Andy and stuff about Ringo. I wish there was a way. I maybe could have taken a piece from one of my videos from the Fest for Beatles fans where we did a little routine. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Andy's looking through records and I take Ringo's Change the World EP and I'm like, yeah, what about this? And he's like, no thanks. No thanks. He puts it back, goes, give it to somebody who'll listen to it. And he puts it in there because he often jokes around about it. I know, we do this all the time. I'm curious to start with this. You seemed eager about this. You were gonna buy this on Record Store Day. You couldn't get one.
Yeah, I was gonna get it. I was gonna get it because I saw my co-host from Two Legs. He was excited about it, and I was intrigued. I'm like, I don't know why I wanted to give this one a chance and not the other 4. I mean, I really loved Zoom In, Zoom Out. I thought that was a good EP. The first one, I really enjoyed it, and I sampled some of the tracks on the other EPs, and I just wasn't feeling it. I just didn't like much of what I heard. I really enjoyed the first one. I bought the cassette. I have the 12-inch. I have the single Zoom In, Zoom Out. I liked that, but the last 3, 4, I just wasn't feeling. This one with Tom, kind of getting excited about it. I'm like, let me give it a shot, and then the single dropped, and I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. And then we got it on streaming just the other day, all of it, because I didn't get a copy, unlike you guys, on Record Store Day. But I've liked what I've heard, and I think it's as good as anything he's done in the last 20 years.
Now, we talking about February Sky, or
I'm talking overall.
Okay,
but February Sky
let's
in
start with
particularly,
February
it's like
Sky,
Ringo meets Tom Petty a little bit. I think that's what it sounds like.
Somebody mentioned that in the comments.
And which I'm
he's
actually, I don't even own
Tom
that
Petty.
comment. One of my good friends, Steve, made that analogy about that track, and so it's not mine, it's his. But I agree with him. It's like Ringo meets Tom Petty with February Sky, and I think that's kind of what it sounds like. It's like Mary Jane's Last Dance. I love
a poor
version of that.
Yeah, I do love that song, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
okay, so you're really big on the song February Sky.
I like it. I like the lyrics of it. I like Rumble Through My REMs, Made It Through My Veins. The chorus is very catchy. Going to stand up, rise above the rain, start a revolution in these dark days, find the missing pieces that are vacant. I had enough of February skies. I like that. I like that chorus. I do.
Yeah, I love the chorus. I've only played this like 4 times, that song. And the other three I only played, I think, twice. So I didn't play, didn't play them a lot. But I wasn't that big on February Sky at first when I heard it. Actually, I was like, I like the chorus right from the start, first listen, and the singing along. You can hear, I think I can hear Linda in there. I like that harmonizing. I love that. Um, but the rest of it didn't really do much for me until the second time, and then the guitars really like wow, stood out to me. Really, really strong guitar in there, and I'm trying to figure is help me out again. Is that Nick Valenzi on
It's Nick
that?
on guitar on that one, and then there's also Josh Gooch as well. So
Yeah,
there's two
yeah,
guitarists.
right. There's different guitarists lead, and they even have guitars listed. Linda Perry as well, bass, etc., etc. So I don't know. All I know is I like the guitar. I want to, as we go on, I'm thinking of other topics as kind of as we go along. I'm going to circle some ideas that I have here. All right, so let's move along and let's say, so Kit, what? Tell me. I know you. I know you like the song, so I'm dying to hear you lay it on us as far as February Sky goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I when I heard you on your channel saying, you changed your mind about it, I think I wrote on in the comments, I knew you'd come around because
Oh yeah.
first time I heard this, I just thought, wow, this is really, this is kind of this is going to be a renaissance for Ringo. I love this track. What I loved about it was it had a modern rock sound, but without, you know, it really retained that Ringo sound. I mean, it wasn't so modern that it made him sound like he was trying to, chase after trends, and that sounded ridiculous, with him. I mean, it wasn't like he was rapping or something. I mean,
Oh,
he wasn't trying to sound, 20 years younger or something. I mean, it really sounded, natural for him, but it had that harder, bit of a harder sound. A couple of people have kind of compared it to Oasis, and it
I
does
heard
have a,
that. I don't
yeah,
know.
it has maybe a little Oasis sound to it, but it's not enough to bother me. I mean, it's, again, it has a more modern sound. As Andy said, love the lyrics, because it is about optimism. Sure, it may be a bit about peace and love, but it isn't hitting you over the head.
Yeah, it's not
no.
cliche yet in this song with the same
Exactly.
usual words.
I just love the chorus. Going to stand up, rise above the rain, start a revolution in these dark days, find the missing pieces that are vacant to the eye. Well, I've had enough of February skies. I mean, that is good songwriting, very intelligent.
Mm.
It gives you, it makes you want to stand up and, and think, yes, let's enough of these bad days. I mean, it just really resonates, as you said, Andy, very catchy. I also love, and it's throughout the tracks, Ringo's voice doesn't have all the effects on it. Now, some people didn't like that. I noticed on social media, they said, "Oh, it doesn't sound as strong." But I like that it doesn't have all the auto tune on it and everything. It sounds more natural. Yes, it isn't as strong, as it was, 20, 30 years ago, but that's okay. I'd rather have that than particularly on the last EP where it was heavily processed. And I like it like this, much better. It sounds like Ringo, not AI Ringo.
Hmm,
I mean,
I see.
I just love this track, and I just thought first listen, I was hooked, and I thought I can't wait for the rest of the EP to come out.
Well, Tom, I don't want to leave you waiting too long, but before I do, I just wanted to, and I'm sorry, folks, I got between allergies and whatever else, I'm keep coughing off mic. I'm trying to do this, but about Ringo's voice, it's funny because again, every time we discuss Ringo, I always say I never really can, thankfully, pick up on auto tuning. I never was able to really hear it as clearly as everybody else seems to be. Occasionally,
Mhm.
maybe a little electronic or something, but I've always been okay with it. And this time I'm listening to this, and the first thing I like is that his voice definitely is up front.
Yep.
I think Ken Michaels always said, and I agreed with him on this, that in some tracks and some albums, his voice seems almost layered or buried in the
Right.
back. You can't hear him up front. So I like that you can hear him. But my point here is, I prefer natural usually, and I prefer everything so you can hear the person, and not. I don't like faking things. But I guess all this time, with all his recent EPs and more recent albums, I guess I did like that if it was auto tune, because this time I'm thinking, great that Ringo's loud, great that he's up front, but I can hear him struggling at times, and the
Mhm.
limitations of his voice and trying to reach these bits, and maybe struggling with it. So it's a little uncomfortable at times, although I don't hate it or anything. I just can
Right.
tell. So now I'm aware by
Yeah.
comparison what he'd done before.
Hmm.
All right. So that's
Yeah.
all I'll say. Anybody could chime in, but I want to finally hear from Tom on
Mhm.
this song in particular.
Well, when first hearing it, what's the one thing that we've been talking about while we've been reviewing these last EPs or these last albums? I mean, we've all been complaining about the sameness of
Right.
his music. So when I first
Right.
heard this, I was like, oh my God, this is great. I mean the names that you don't see. Listen, I'm not saying anything bad about past musicians that he's worked with. Okay, I
Right.
love Lukather, I love
Lukather.
Walsh, I love
Lukather,
Bruce
yeah.
Sugar. I mean, the great people that he's worked with. But it is just so refreshing to hear other people on an EP or an album, and you're not just getting the same rotation of guitar players, the same rotation of bass players, the same rotation of songwriters. I think it's just really good to hear somebody else's take. Yes, we've got little sprinklings of Linda Perry in the past, but with this EP and this title track, the first single, if you will, from this EP, not saying it's not even my favorite song on the EP, but it's still to my ears, it's still like a breath of fresh air from Ringo, knowing that we're not getting the same old, and to go with the voice as well. Look, you know. I kind of like we talk about Paul and his the days. Why am I scratching? Early days.
Yeah.
We talk about how his rough voice. I kind of like this elder. Ringo. These songs I think kind of fit his like older voice without
Yeah.
the auto tune.
Natural.
Yeah.
It's more
I,
natural.
I I love Paul on early days. I always
Yeah,
say I think that makes the song. I wouldn't want to hear
right.
an Ed Sullivan era Paul singing something
No,
like early days.
Right.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. It
But
wouldn't
but
fit.
especially on the last track we'll get to too, it's just like, okay, he's a guy looking back at his past. He's not he should I don't think he should sound, youthful
Right.
in any of his so-called biography songs. I don't think he should sound youthful at
No.
all,
Right.
you know.
Exactly.
So yeah, enjoy it. You guys already mentioned the chorus. I like the guitar work. From both Nick and Josh on this whole EP. But yeah, the great writing from Linda Perry. So and
It just
obviously we're gonna get
sounds fresh. It
yeah
doesn't sound like the
Yeah.
yeah
same last three EPs. It just sounds fresher.
Well,
Exactly.
I'll
yeah
get to the other tracks later for me. But
Hmm.
because February Sky is the only track that I really like on this
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
me. But I do like it, and the more I hear it, the more I think this is like a modern Ringo
Yeah.
classic.
Yep.
For as far as that goes. So I'm pretty happy with February Sky.
Hmm.
Let me ask you. Let me ask the everybody a question. Do you think he brought Linda Perry on because he thought that the last couple of EPs were just the same, and he heard criticism and said, "Let me change it up"?
Well, she was already on
Well, I mean, but like
EP3,
yeah
to
but
be like a totally different change
oh,
up with
oh,
other
just
band musicians and stuff, like Tom said. No
Hmm.
Lukather, no, all those guys.
Yeah.
When
That's a good question. I don't know. Because I guess his last EP got decent reviews
Rewind
from
Forward.
critics. Yeah, Rewind Forward. I guess it got decent reviews from critics, but maybe he did get some feedback. Because I know I admit, I gave it a very review. I mean,
Right.
and I'm sure he listens to everything I say, but I think but I thought he really needed a change after that last EP. I just
Yeah.
thought, and I think a number of people felt that way.
Yeah, I think this is it. And then another thing too is like this sounds like it was all recorded in the same studio. A lot of some past EPs, it sounded like people are just sending the files. Okay, here I put down the bass track. Now here's the file. Now you lay down the guitar track. Here's the file. Now Ringo's going to add the drums. This actually sounds like it was recorded. All together
as a band in a studio,
yeah, as
right?
a band, the band is tight,
right,
and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this just has a completely different sound and feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, and even the vocal alone, I think. But there's more than just that. I agree with what Tom said in that regard. It sounds like it's maybe all recorded together, in the same place and everything. That I do sense that out of it. But then we'll go through the other songs themselves.
Mhm.
Okay, so all right, the next track is called Adeline. Okay, and I want to see what we think of that. Let's start with Kit on Adeline.
Yeah, I have to admit this was the weakest track for me. I it was okay. I mean, I didn't hate it. It seemed that this one almost sounded like I could picture like this was an English pub kind of song. Like I could picture everybody standing around the piano with their drink, mugs full of beer, and then singing the chorus together. I, I mean, and also I would say this is the song where I could personally hear the weaknesses in
Yeah.
Ringo's voice the most. Yeah, I felt that I could really hear it. And also it was an interesting song that parts of it had kind of a reggae feel in tempo, and then it would, the verses did, and then when you get to the chorus, it then had this almost a little bit of a ska tempo, would speed up a bit. And I mean the and some synthesizer fake horns, which also made me feel like a little ska kind of feel. And it was another kind of somewhat positive message, kind of, live for the moment, enjoy life, enjoy happiness while we can, love one another. I mean, it was that same kind of theme. I just didn't think it was as strong or interesting as the other tracks on the album. I would just rate this, as average. I will quote our good friend Matthew Street, who rated this album on his channel and give this a C. I mean, as opposed to the other songs on the EP.
Oh, okay, thanks, Kit.
Mhm.
Tom, what do you think of Adeline?
Well, I agree with Kit. I think this is the weakest of the four. However, I mean, it is a nice tempo of a song. I mean, I do like lyrically, it's okay. I do question the "but everybody can be saved" a bit. I wonder if if that's anything religious or born again theme in there. I'm not saying that that's takes away from the song or anything like that. I'm just, you just look at that lyric and you just wonder, if that's, the meaning behind that. But I do like, life is good, life is kind, take a breath, Adeline. I mean, life is good, but not all the time. So, I mean, it's not bad. It's not the worst song on his EPs, but by any stretch, but it is the weakest of the four here. And yeah, that's all I'll say about that. But I like the tempo. It's a good tempo of a song. I do agree again with Kit that you can kind of hear a little bit more weakness in his voice on this one. But all in all, yeah, probably a C.
Yeah, and about the weakness in Ringo's voice. Ringo, of course. Again, you always feel you got to do this. I do anyway. I love Ringo.
Yeah.
I'm always defending him. I love, even though he's not a great singer. Technically, never has been. I've always liked what he does with a song anyway. But I'm trying to say that with Ringo can't afford to have any cracking voice. So he's already working on that level too. That he's not John or Paul, say in this case, or even George maybe at times. Although George can have a little shakiness too at times. But yeah. So I always feel like, I don't know. I think he was sounding better on the other ones.
Yeah.
Like I said, not to repeat myself. All
Mm.
right, Andy, you're up for Adeline.
I'm gonna go a little different. I actually really enjoy this track. I like Ringo hearing a little bit of the aged effect on this one. It's also a rare thing with Ringo because the song opens up with the chorus right out of the gate. Opens up right out of the chorus, and that's kind of rare. Usually it's like verse, 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 then a chorus. This one's a little bright, a little more optimistic. Life is good. Yeah, it has a little more of those kind of echelons of the peace and love vibe that we've heard on a lot of these other EPs, which you hear in this song. But I like it. I like it. I like the track a lot. It's not my least favorite one on the EP. I'll tell you that. It's not my favorite, but it's not my least favorite song out of the four. I would give it a good B plus. I enjoy Adeline a lot. It's probably the one I've listened to probably just as much as the other three, to be honest with you. I like it. I like it a lot. I do.
Well, you've got two people agreeing with you in the comments. Matthew Smith said, so maybe I'm alone in liking Adeline quite a bit. Not the album's best, but good all the same. And Susan Gagney said, I'm with you on Adeline. I like it a lot. So yeah, you are not alone.
Yep. Right. I like the fact that you can hear his aged vocals a little bit like Paul on Early Days, and we're not hearing just processed auto tune. There's some kind of nice characteristic, and to hear somebody older singing these songs, and naturally the way they're supposed to be at 83, that's the beauty of it. And I think you hear that charm in that song. I think you do.
Maybe following that line of thinking about, and Tom said it earlier too about, singing about his life or being older now and singing about his life, kind of like with Paul with Early Days. I get that from Crooked Boy, which we'll discuss later.
Of course.
But not so much the theme of Adeline.
No, but and it does have that kind of lilting Beatles kind of kind of bumpiness to it. I'm not saying it's Penny Lane, nothing is, but it has that kind of vibe to it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I have to go in the C camp too for it.
All right.
I'm not big on it. Again, these are songs I have not played many times yet. They can grow on you. And because I love the Beatles, and particularly in this case the solo Beatles, I go back to these things and I give them more and more listens. So maybe a year or two from now I'll have a whole different opinion. But I don't know. I didn't like the in this particular song. I didn't like I don't know what you call it, the tempo changes or up and down kind of thing. And I don't know. I mean, the lyrics are pretty decent though. It's the song. Maybe I'm not music and stuff, and the pitch of it and up and down and the direction it takes that I'm not so wild about. But the lyrics about like life not always being perfect, searching for answers, riding towards freedom, searching for an answer that's right in front of you. I mean, some of those lyrics that I like. I just think the tune. And I was watching, I think it was Things We Said Today with Darren DeVivo, and I think he called this one Goofy.
Oh no.
Goofy.
I think that's the, and I'm like, that's it. I'm like, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know, maybe that's a little strong, but yeah, it's something silly about it or something. I don't like the feel of it as much.
Well, you've got some people in your corner in the comments, Andy. So Lee says Andy knows his stuff.
And okay.
So,
thank you, Lee.
And Ed Chen. Ed Chen agrees B plus is about right.
That's about what I put it. All right. Hello, Ed.
Yeah. So is it like a rule?
I guess we're
taking right and wrong. This is right.
Yeah. So I guess we're taking this too serious, guys.
So the vote is split. The vote is because so
I-
people agree with us in the comments.
Hey,
but
Wink
the vote is
55.
split.
It's split. It's
It's
cool.
Wink 55 gives it a C minus.
All right, see, well, there you guys go. There's
So
Kit.
see, so
There, you
we're
guys, Kit. Your opinion is validated.
yeah, exactly. So we'll just go and fight this in the alley later. It's no problem.
You got it.
All right, all right. All right, let's talk about the next track called "Gonna Need Someone." Okay, I
All right.
can't get in the alley, you guys.
Please.
I just caught that. Ringo has said in interviews that he felt he wanted a rocker, and that he said to Linda, "Write me a rocker." And she wasn't sure at first how to go about it, but then she did this, which I want to talk a little first about it. I guess I'll jump in there first about this one. Obviously, it's the most up tempo rocking number. The first thing I noticed is I loved Ringo's drums on this. I love the way he drums on it. It's amazing. He's going to be 84, and sometimes, as much as I've always loved Ringo's drumming, on some of the tracks, even like it's kind of like it's more a little slower. He's it's a little slower. This is pretty frantic for him, I think, and I really like that. That's the first thing I like about it. So I like this track. It's probably my second favorite after February Sky. I like Gonna Need Someone next. I think it's the energy of it that stands out. The lyrics are repetitious, over and over the same thing, but that doesn't always matter, does it? I mean, if you're enjoying a rock song, right? I love "Check My Machine," and
Yeah. How
that's
many
not a
times?
rock song, but
Yeah, I mean, how many times does you say "back off Boogaloo"? I mean,
right. So I mean, again, I always say I got to always bring this point home. It's one of my trademarks. It's like when you're enjoying something, it's okay. And another song where you're not enjoying it, say, "Oh, the lyrics are too repetitious." But if you're enjoying it, yeah, I don't mind that the lyrics are repetitious. It's funny how that goes. But yeah, so that's what I have to say about it. So now I'm out of here for that one. And let me see. Tom, let's start with you for "Gonna Need Someone."
yeah. It's again, I love it, the up temponess. I love the rockiness of it, and that's funny because you say the repetition of this, and you can like the repetition, and then sometimes the music doesn't go with it, or you can like the music and then get tired of the repetition of the lyrics. I like both here on this one. I mean, maybe over time, if I play this nonstop, I'll get tired of it. But I like the Casa. You're gonna need someone. It's yeah, why not? But this is another fun one. I love the guitars on this one too. Nick and Josh, I think rock on this one too. And then I think it's Nick that's in the video that just got released.
Yeah, I think so.
I love these videos too. They have a lot of old images of Ringo, throughout
Yeah.
the 60s and 70s. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one he's there. At least this one I saw though. And this one he's pointing. He's pointing in this one.
So, and I also want to say is this side too, I think is far superior than the first side. And I really dig this side. So yeah, I think you're going to need someone is a good side opener. Keeps your attention. Although yes, it is repetitive. But I also kind of like the Black Dog in the Rain. I mean, it's like you're listening to that. It's like, what is he talking? Black Dog in the Rain.
Well, yeah, it's like I love the song "Down and Out." Ringo,
Right.
the B side, a photograph, and it's like just looked in the fire. What did I see? I saw someone looking at me. I'm down and out. It's like what the hell? It's like when you're digging something, it's all right.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, again, it's a simple song, but it's a really good good Ringo song, I think.
Okay, very good. Okay, Andy, tell us about "Gonna Need Someone."
Oh.
Hey, how do you really feel? How do you really feel?
This one can't do this one. This is where I hear I'm like same old, same old. Okay, the tempo is great. It's a rocker. That's great. And I think it's the only one that's got a video too, right? There's a video drop with this too.
No,
February Sky got a
February
video
Sky
too.
did too, but there's a video that dropped for this recently too, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one just I can't resonate to you. You know, gonna need someone, gonna need someone, gonna need someone. Skip.
No, don't skip. You never get a chance to maybe like it later if you skip it.
Joe.
We
For
talk about
you,
this all the time.
Joe, for you and only you, to quote Ringo, I'll give it another shot.
Oh, all right. And I'll
but-
listen to Little Lamb Dragonfly again.
You better, damn it.
Oh, wow.
See, I have backup with that one because I have a co-host with me on that one who's going to back me up with that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But
Okay.
I think it's a fine rocker. It just doesn't do anything for me, you know. It just
I mean,
doesn't.
again, it's back off Boogaloo. How many times? Oh my, how many times? I mean, it's just
Yeah, but there's a lot of other lyrics going on in those songs before they get to the ending of Back Off, you know.
Listen,
Not
if these
many.
were as
I'm
good as
actually
Back
with
Off
Wake Up Me
Boogaloo,
and-
you know, we'd have 18 formats of it.
Look, I'm going to say, I know your point you're trying to make, but if I can politely interject, definitely the words throughout the song are really the same thing. Well, the beginning says a little something,
right.
but the one, but like you said, if you look at these lyrics on here, man, gonna need someone, gonna need someone to love, and there's almost everything.
Gonna
But
need
anyway.
someone. Gonna need someone. You're gonna need
And
someone
Black
to
Dog
love.
in the Rain, Black
Okay.
Dog in the Rain.
Verse
as
2,
well.
it becomes the overkill, leaving all your love in the dust, breaking down on the way, no one left for you to trust. Gonna need someone. Gonna need someone. Black Dog in the Rain. That's about the only redeeming quality lyric in that freaking song. I don't.
I thought I was direct. Wow. Okay.
You haven't
Now-
met me then.
Oh, well, I have, and I love that approach. You know, no problem. All right. So now I see what Kit's
Wink.
gonna. Well,
Wink says, "Oh my God, how can someone not like Dragonfly?" See, Joe.
well, that was a bad example because it's not a horrible song. Obviously, Little Dragonfly. So that's a bad example.
Now, if you didn't like Magneto and Titanium Man, that would be an issue.
Cuckoo. That's strange. Kid, you'll never live that down.
I have to just interject. I just got a message, and people have said it in the comments. I don't think we talked about it in the news, but a trailer just dropped for Let It Be. On YouTube.
I gotta make a video. I'll see ya.
Yeah.
I gotta be the first. Gotta be the first with a video.
Scott Erickson just messaged me that there's a new trailer for Let It Be that just dropped on YouTube while we were doing our show.
Oh my God. Okay. Well,
Okay.
after the show,
Right.
Now they're all gonna go.
watch
That's
it.
a lot. Let's see how many we
right.
lose.
Well,
There's
Joe,
72 people right
let's
now.
see how long we can stretch this episode. So.
Yeah. I'm actually trying to make this one a short one if I can. But anyway.
Man.
All right. Not because of that, but
Yeah, of course.
all right, Kid. I'm dying to hear your opinion.
All
on this.
right. I thought this was a banger. I really did. I mean, yes, the lyrics aren't anything brainy. I completely agree. The Black Dog thing was a little interesting. I didn't know if that may have been a Led Zeppelin reference. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Fool in the Rain, man.
Yeah. Who knows? I wondered about that. Yes, nothing brainy. I agree. But it was fun. This is just pure fun, rock and roll. I thought Ringo's drumming on this was great. I mean, for an 83-year-old, folks, 83, I mean, his fills on this were fantastic. Loved the guitar from, what's his name again? Nick Valenci. I mean, I could hear a little bit of "Are You Gonna Be My Girl?" a little Jet there, but of course, because that's what he's from Jet. But I thought it was fun. And that's all it's supposed to be. I mean, it was just great to just crank up and just enjoy. And again, to hear an 83-year-old rock like this is just inspiring. I think.
Very much.
It's so great to hear him do this.
Fair, Kit. That's a fair assessment.
So if you look at it from that perspective, as I said, yes, lyrics are nothing brainy, not complicated, but to hear him drum on this and to just hear him have fun, and just hear this fun song, I enjoyed it. As I said, I thought it was a banger. Not as good as February Sky. February Sky is kind of a whole different category, but I just thought this was, as the kids say, a fun bop. you know.
It was fire. That's what the kids say. It's fire.
That's right. Fire.
That's a new thing. Oh, I don't.
It is.
Well, in the comments, and I everyone has a choice when to not to raise their voice. All right, here we go. No, seriously, Christian says in here, "Hello, goodbye" doesn't have a lot of lyrics. People, that's a technique we all do. Oh, you like this song? How come "Hello, Goodbye" doesn't have a lot of lyrics? And that's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
What can I tell you? "Hello, Goodbye" is day and night from this song, as far as I'm so much better than "Gonna Need Someone." I think, in my opinion, am I alone there? It doesn't have lyrics, but it's got so much other stuff going on in it and stuff.
Comparing a Beatles song to a Ringo solo song in 2024 is not a conversation.
Well, I will. No, I will definitely compare what you're doing to a Ringo song in 2024. I think what you're doing is lesser than February Sky.
Oh,
It's
now I
hard
don't
to.
know.
Oh,
I don't know, Joe.
I always pick on what you're doing.
why?
Well, what are you gonna if you're gonna find a Paul song from the Beatles? That's not, like something like "Why Don't We Do It in the Road" or something.
Send
What are you
all
gonna pick?
email to Joe Mayo, courtesy of Infinity Rhinos.
I mean, I love what you're doing. I love everything. But the thing is, I'm trying to look for it's not "Let It Be," "Hey Jude." I'm trying to look for something that's just from Paul. Thought it was.
Of course, it's got to be a Paul song, right? Right, Joe? It's got to be a Paul song, right?
Well, there must be a reason why I was using Paul. Well, how come it's all about Paul and everything else, except we want to criticize that it's not all about Paul?
By the way, I just want to point out in the comments there are a couple of people backing me up on Magneto and Titanium Man.
Yeah, I saw that.
So,
Susan said something. Right?
So Susan doesn't like it either, so you're all good.
I saw that. I'm like, boy, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody. Oh, you said something about what you do. Name a song, folks. Is there what's the weakest Paul McCartney? If you're going to pick one, a weak filler type of Beatles McCartney song. I know it's very hard to find. Very hard.
Wild Honey Pie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
There you go, Tom. There you go, partner.
Something like that.
Sure.
Yeah,
you want to compare February Sky to Wild Honey Pie?
No,
okay,
no.
fine.
It doesn't automatically.
There you go.
I wish Ken was here for this. It doesn't always go in my book. Just because something's a Beatles song, it automatically is better than. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm Amazed is better than certain Beatles songs.
I'll agree with that.
Come on,
yes,
individual.
I
don't know,
certain,
but you get the picture. But that's all right.
All right, so sort of split vote, somewhat split vote
on that one. Okay,
I'm gonna need someone. All right,
so now we're gonna talk about "Crooked Boy," the title track. And I want to start with Andy for this one for whatever reason. Let's do because you went well, not last time, but
for whatever reason.
I want Tom last on this one because I already know what he thinks. So what do you think, Andy?
I think this is probably right up there with February Sky for one of the strongest songs on the whole EP. I think it's another classic example of Ringo talking about his past. He's done this a lot on his albums over the last 10, 15 years, going back to Liverpool 8. Whenever he talks about his youth, it resonates. And this is another example. Lyrically, this song just kicks ass. And when Ringo talks about his youth and the old days, you heard it on Ringo 2012, you heard it on Ringo, the song in Liverpool 8. This is just the next line in that of these songs. And I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great closer for the EP. He's talking about himself, about a kid who was, fell into a coma, then got back up on my feet, a sickly boy that found his own way. Finally felt like I belong, the crumbling plaster on the ceiling. Let me escape to Prince's Park. Prince's Park, if anybody doesn't know, is a section of Liverpool that he's referring to. Okay, and let me escape to Prince's Park. That was the furthest thing from where Ringo was living because Ringo lived in Toxteth in the Dingle, and Prince's Park is a really nice section of Liverpool. So we have that context with it with these lyrics. It resonates, and I think it's a teddy boy who found his own way. Things like that. I mean,
but that comes in at the end.
It does. It's the last. It's the
right.
last. It's the
he
last.
Says
lyric.
crooked. What does he say? Crooked boy before that, and then he let the end. It says Teddy
A
Boy, which
sickly boy. A sickly
sickly
boy.
boy.
A sickly boy, yeah. A sickly boy who found his own way.
And then at the end, it becomes Teddy Boy, which I think is cool. I think
right.
that's cool.
And I think it's another classic Ringo biographical song talking about his past and being okay with it. And it's good. I put it right up there with Liverpool 8 in Liverpool, the other side of Liverpool. What's that other track he did? Bring it something with the boys. What was that track? What was that?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, and I can't think of it.
Oh man, you got me. How's
Tom,
Rory and
you
the
know what I'm talking
Hurricanes? How
about?
about Rory and the Hurricanes?
Rory and the Hurricanes.
is another one
It's in
too.
that vein.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I think so, and I think it's a fine. I think it's a fine closer on an overall really good EP, and I'm very happy with it. And I don't know if it's that or February Sky, which I like the best. I always go back and forth which one I like more, but lyrically, this one is really good.
Okay, I know how Tom feels. I know already, and I know how Andy now feels. I don't know Kit yet, but I'm good. I think it might be a good point for me to go in there.
I got some stuff to say about it. You know,
okay,
so, yeah.
you'll have your moment. Now, Andy, how does it
hold
go?
it, Tom.
Andy, how does it go? How do you do that?
What?
Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
The music does nothing for me on this track. The song does nothing for me. The lyrics, the sentiment. Oh yeah, absolutely. But not even his. I mean, Linda Perry wrote the song. You would think that Ringo wrote this. I mean, I'm surprised there's not a co-credit. He didn't like feed anything to Linda because it sounds like he could have written these words, you know. But that's all I really wanted to say about it. I love the words and the story, the actual tune or whatever. The song doesn't do anything for me, and I'll say again, at this point in time, it doesn't move me. That the music doesn't move me in it. I like the sentiment and the words. We'll see what the future brings as I listen to it more and more. But as you were naming those songs, you named them before. Again, in comparison, which I was going to say, to me, I was going to say, this is no Liverpool 8, this is no Rory and the Hurricanes, and it's no the other side of Liverpool. To me, those are all superior to this song as far as, in my opinion, the overall sound of it and the experience. I'm talking just lyrics, but I think the other songs are more fun and interesting musically. So that's my feeling on it. Okay, so Kit, I don't know what your thoughts are on Crooked Boy the song. So now I will find out.
Well, I'm sorry, Joe. I'm in Andy's camp here. I really, I no longer want to fight Andy in the alley. I really like this one. This is a great one. Like Andy was saying, I'm a sucker when it comes to Ringo's autobiographical songs. I love when he's singing about what life was like in Liverpool and growing up and all. And it is kind of amazing that Ringo didn't write this, but Linda Perry did. However, I don't know if Linda either maybe was based on stories that Ringo told her, or she just did a deep dive into his life story, something. She obviously did. Because the lyrics are just, so thoughtful. I mean, so good. I mean, and the way about, I mean, we all know his story about how, sickly he was as a child. And what I love about the lyrics too is, and some of you out there have been, talking about how it's nice that this album hasn't been hammering the peace and love thing. He does talk about peace and love in this song, but what he does is saying, "This is why I'm about."
This is why
I love that. I love that that the lyrics are about this. Like, this is what I've gone through in my life. The sickness and about being a sickly boy and then turning into a teddy boy and everything I've seen. And by the way, his voice isn't perfect on this either, but it works because
on a song like this,
spot on, Queen.
I would take it in a song like this more.
Yeah, exactly, because it's about his story, it's about his life experience. And so I love that twist in the saying, this is why I'm about love and peace, because this is my life story and I've seen good and bad and I've been through all of this. And so there's that wonderful line. Let's see. Trying to. Okay, here it is. I banged on tins and made lots of noise. When I
Yes.
hear a
Yeah.
sad guitar, I gently tap my knees, and all the people passing by, I send them love and peace. I mean, you just
Yeah.
picture him like sitting on a bench in a park
And
and
no
just,
autographs.
yeah,
Well,
no autographs,
yeah.
but you
But
know,
I mean, that song reminds me. You hear guitar and you hear gently. You hear sad. I mean, that just reminds me of While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Gently weeps.
exactly. But
Yeah.
he's just like reflecting on his life, and you know, I love this song. I love the lyrics. It's a way for him to express peace and love, but not just, as I said, hammer us with the message and explain, you know, this is why I have this outlook on life. Love it. Absolutely love it. Right up there with February Sky, as you said, Andy.
Oh boy, can I take it? Can I take any more? Let's find out. Okay, Tom, how do you feel about Crooked Boy, the song?
Linda Perry wrote Ringo Starr a masterpiece with this track.
Mhm.
Okay, she did her research. I mean, it's well written. I think Ringo does an excellent job. I love the guitars on this track. You know, and I love the fills. I mean, you know, Ringo sings, and you kind of get the, you know, how George wanted to do a little guitar riff in between lyrics. I kind of like that with this song. I love what Nick and Josh bring to this guitar. I mean, to the song with their guitars. I love the Kit. You stole my thunder on that line. I love when I hear a sad guitar and I gently bang my keys or whatever he's saying. It sounds like he's saying knees, but on the lyrics it says keys.
Oh,
But
it's a keys. Oh, sorry
yeah,
about that.
but when I hear it, I hear knees. You know,
Yeah.
as it's like banging out. Yeah, that's what I hear, and
Yeah.
I love that the sickly boy found his way, and I love that it ends with a teddy boy found his way. I love.
Yeah.
You know, I love that part. I mean, it's absolutely, you know, we all know, you know, what he went through in his younger days or his early days, if you want to. You know, and Andy, you said it beautifully. You know, with the whole Princess Park thing. You know, he couldn't be further from that. And then here he is. And, you know, he's living the great grand life. And he's probably going to outlive all of us. He's probably going to be right up there with Keith Richards and Willie Nelson as the last three people on the planet.
That's right.
You know, so it's for me, it's a fantastic track, the best song on the EP for me, for my ears, and I don't care if anybody disagrees.
Thumbs down. I don't care what you say. Okay, a masterpiece. Okay, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it. But you know, like I said, the lyrics are great. Not many people talked about the tune or lack of or the music. The guitar. I heard you say you love the guitars, but
yes.
Okay, you know, just.
And I like the change of pace too, by the way, that it is kind of a mid-tempo.
Yeah, not a, yeah, it's not a, yeah.
Because if it had been another up-tempo song, I mean, it would have been boring. I mean, to have the whole EP like that, but to have it close on that mid-tempo kind of sound. So
yeah. And I would love
to
hear more. I would love to hear Linda talk more about this track. I mean, did she do the research? Did Ringo give her stories? I mean, obviously, you know, if you're a Beatles fan, you know Ringo's story to begin with anyway. So I'm sure she had some knowledge. But I'm curious if Ringo gave her a few nuggets, like, you know, of his earlier days. You know, like, hey, you can maybe throw this in. But then maybe he would have wanted a writing credit. I
mean, I wonder
Tom.
what if he didn't. As presumably he didn't feed her anything.
Right.
I wonder what he thought. He must have been touched by these lyrics.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, they really resonate for him, for his story. I mean, you know.
I have a question for everybody. Where do you rank this EP out of all of them?
He just took my question as the moderator. That's what
I didn't know you had that.
That's okay. I was gonna want. That's you know. I was gonna. I'm just playing with you. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's. I don't know. Start with Kit.
Oh man, I'm trying to decide if I would rank, because Zoom In has always been my number one. But this may replace it. I think this may be number one, and Zoom In is number two.
Very good. Okay, Tom, how about you?
I can see this one and Zoom In being like 1A, 1B, and both of them fight for that position.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason why Zoom In might have an edge is because it's got 5 tracks rather than 4.
True. Yeah, that's true. It's
okay.
tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, what did you say before? You only heard the first one, or you don't know? You heard them, but you don't have them.
No, I own Zoom In, and I sampled the other 3.
Right.
I sampled the other 3, but I don't own the other 3. So
can you rank them, or you can't necessarily?
I mean, for me, it's this one. It's Crooked Boy and Zoom In. Zoom In for me. I mean, it's 1A, 1B. I mean, the fact that Kit said that and Tom said that kind of validates how I felt about the music on the other 3 EPs. So if Tom and Kit are both going, these are the 2 best so far. I kind of feel validated about kind of skipping the other 3 EPs by and large.
There are moments on the others.
Well, I think you said, if I remember from my dim memory, you weren't wild about even McCartney's song on the last one, "Feeling the Sunlight."
Yeah, I wasn't.
Because I really liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we wanted Ringo to kind of like step out of his wheelhouse, right? I mean, this is the kind of things that
I don't see that.
Now, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Obviously, for Joe, it doesn't work.
I don't get the feeling he's stepping out of his wheelhouse at all, except for the fact that his voice is natural.
Yeah,
because I mean, "Gonna Need Someone" is just a rocker, just like he's done that before, on the other ones, and Crooked Boy's song about his life, he's done that before. Adeline, I don't know. Maybe Adeline could just be any track.
But do you feel the sameness though with this record as you felt
It
with?
doesn't matter, because my opinion is it's fighting for the bottom spot along with "Change the World." I don't know. I have to listen to "Change the World" again.
Wow.
But I like "Coming Undone" better than Adeline or "Gonna Need Someone" or "Crooked Boy."
"Coming Undone" is a fantastic track. I definitely give you that. Yeah.
I mean, but I'm just saying that's just one track, but I can't remember. But I mean, he had, even though it's a cover, I mean, he had that's the one that had "Rock Around the Clock" on it, "Change the World."
I think it did.
I'm just trying to say that for me,
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't. Other than the fact, like I said, Ringo's voice is up front, and he's using it natural. Is Tom still there? Can you hear me?
No, he's getting something.
He's not
walking off. Don't worry.
Rewind forward, I think.
No, I'm just looking at Rewind Forward, and I was just looking. Well, Miss Jean too. I mean, listen, Rewind Forward's got some really good stuff on it too.
Yeah. And don't forget "Free Your Soul" that we all liked.
Yep. We have a mention of that. Yep.
And that's different for Ringo. Very different.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just saying, Tom. In my opinion, I think that I get like the voice, the natural voice, the upfront voice is a refreshing change in a way. Even though I think it's sometimes a miss with too much limitations in his voice, but I like that that's different. And also, you were saying earlier how it all sounds like it's more together, like it's all recorded together.
It sounded like it's recorded live in one studio rather than everybody, recording their stuff in a separate studio.
Yeah. But the songs themselves, for me, I don't see any big departure for them at all from anything really. Just mostly the sound, like you said, how they're recorded, production maybe, and that. But the songs themselves, to me, it sounds like almost anything else that he's done to me. For me.
Right.
I don't hear anything different in them, Even like something like "February Sky" is the only track that I really, really like. The other 3, But like I say, he's done rockers like "Gonna Need Someone," and he's done better introspective things like the Liverpool songs that he did. And Adeline could be anything. I mean, I think sometimes we forget, or I know I do, all the other songs on every EP and every track. There's a reggae one I really liked on Zoom In. I forget what it was. It's been a while.
Yeah. I don't know. Just for me, I just felt like it really, with the exception of Adeline for me, and even then it's still, I didn't hate the song or anything, but I don't know. I just really liked the forward, more modern sound on this. The lyrics, for the, not entirely, but for at least "Crooked Boy" and "February Sky," the lyrics were strong. I thought he sounded great without, the mix was better on his voice without the effects. I just was really excited about this. I just thought, to me, it was a bit of a change up for him, at least for modern, recent times.
Yeah, production.
Yeah, the production. I just thought this was a solid effort.
Yeah,
Really.
I mean, listen, I mean, I don't want to talk bad about Bruce Sugar. Bruce Sugar has done some great stuff with Ringo, but I just think it was really cool to have somebody other than Bruce Sugar produce or co-produce an EP or an album with Ringo.
Yeah,
Change
it was time
is
for a
good.
change up.
No,
Yeah.
but again, but what kills
change
me
is
about it
good.
is, again, all of you, and again, I want to fight when you're the only person. It's like you
Mhm.
got to be wrong, so to
Oh,
speak.
Oh,
But the thing is, again, most of what you were saying, and I agree with, is the production, the
mhm.
style, the musicians, the actual
Mm.
songs themselves. To me, are no big. I think some of the other, I can't remember them all, but I remember some
Mhm.
of the reggae ones were different. The Free Your Soul was like, what's
right.
the word we
Oh,
want
that's
to
a
use?
great one. I love For Your Soul.
That was more different altogether. And
Mhm.
man, I can't remember all the ones on there. I wish I could right now.
Mhm.
Remember, I wish I had them all in front of me, all the tracks. And somebody said in the comments about Miss Jean. I knew I liked Miss Jean, but I couldn't
Yeah.
remember what it was. And somebody saying how it rocks.
Yeah,
Miss
yeah,
Jean
Yeah, that
rocks
was
hard.
good.
Ali
Oh, Miss
Perry
Jean was
said.
good.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, well, there's gonna need someone. There's you're gonna need. He's done it
right.
before, rocking hard.
Mhm.
It's not. I mean,
Yeah.
but his voice is definitely more prominent here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, looking at the tracks again for Rewind Forward, I mean, this was an excellent EP as well. I
Mm.
Mhm.
thought this one was pretty good too.
Do you
Mhm.
like it? Do you like that better than Crooked Boy?
No, no, I think I liked Crooked Boy a little bit more.
Yeah. Ed Chen mentioned "Teach Me How to Tango." That was
Oh
good.
yeah, teach me
Oh,
to
I remember
tango.
that
Yeah,
one.
I mean, I
That was
know.
a good one.
Boy, it's
Yeah.
been a while. And somebody else said you could get a great album out of this. Ali Perry's. You could if you put like your favorite tracks, you could make a nice
Oh,
14-track
sure.
album out of
You
this.
can.
You
Hey,
know,
maybe that's a future show.
I said that to
somebody.
Tom. He's going to take
Yeah.
all these songs and just throw and then put out an album with all of them. You know that's going to.
Mm. Somebody suggested that to me today on one of my live streams. Why don't you just try doing that? And I thought, yeah, well,
Not a
I'm
bad
sure we
idea.
will at some
Make an
point.
album out of all the best songs on
That's a
the
future show
EPs.
right there. Yeah, take all the
Yeah.
EPs, pick our favorite tracks, and then make an album out of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Let's do that. Maybe a
So
future
that's. I mean,
show.
this is great. This was another great show. I mean, I
It
think.
really was.
But I wanted to say, I don't know if anybody saw there's been some new interviews with Ringo going around. And one of them,
Right.
which to me was kind of sad, is something he said, but also wound up being funny. And I know I sent you a clip. I don't know if everybody watched it, but
Yeah, I
for the
watched
people
that.
out there that haven't heard the whole thing, there's Ringo was being interviewed, and the interviewer asked him, "Are you going to do these songs live on tour?" And he said, "Nah, I'm not. I don't do new songs live." And why not? Well, he said something about, well, I talk about them, I mention it. And then, of course, he always does that thing. I ask how many people have
Right,
it, and 5 people have it.
right.
He says, so, and then he says people either go to get a T-shirt or go to the bathroom every time when I do this. I mean, Ringo's not unique in that. People tend to do that through material anyway. And then he tells the story about how I believe that he went to see Elton John, I think in England
Right.
once with Elton John's mom, and they're both sitting in the audience, and Elton John says, "I'm just going to do songs from my new album tonight," and he said, and half of the place left, including me and Elton's mom.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Which is,
Oh.
it's sad because listen, we all have our ways of listening to music, and I
Jeez.
and I get that, but we never knew we were gonna like those hits until we first heard them.
Well, yeah,
You,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's
yeah.
just like if you like an artist, if you say that John Cougar Mellencamp is your favorite artist, but yet you haven't listened to anything he's done in the last 20 years, is he really your favorite artist?
He's
Yeah.
not.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not. Right.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I don't agree with Ringo.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think he
right.
should at least do, I mean, one song. At least do one song, if you don't the
Yeah.
whole all four.
Just I mean, at least one of the rockers. I mean, I
You
think
know.
that played great live. I mean, love to
He
hear it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But he always does that thing. How many people have it? One, two, three. And I'm like, don't do that, man.
I was
That's
gonna
what.
say, don't sell yourself short
Yeah,
like
I was
that.
gonna. If I ever met people say, what would you say to these people? First thing I tell them how much I love his stuff, including well, maybe not Crooked Boy as much as the other ones, but I would say, I like new stuff. You know what? You know what I mean? What are you rolling your eyes about, son?
All right.
Crooked Boy. anyway, anyway. All right. So, any other thoughts? I'm kind of think we covered everything.
Yep.
We're
All right.
good.
It was
All
a
right. So,
good discussion.
Was any
all right.
audience the comments that you want to mention there, Queen? Or
All right, let's see here. Okay, I'm just skimming. Oh, we got some good comments about we should do that Ringo EP show in the future. So I guess we will do
okay.
that. Let's see here. I'm trying to skim here. Let's see. Susan said she would rank this album at number one.
Oh wow.
Yep. Ollie Perry's ranking of the EPs: Zoom, Rewind, Crooked, Three, and Change. Change was
Okay.
it Change the
Right.
World?
Change the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be his ranking. Let's see. Let's see. KSF FHHNFA fan. I'm sorry, I probably massacred that. Either best or second best of them all. Zoom in is what I'm still not sure of ranking. Yeah, I mean
It's
that's
been
tough.
so long since that one. That's not fresh in our heads, but I think we went pretty positive on that, if I remember.
Yeah, because that's kind of to me the kind of set the standard because that's Zoom
Right.
in is a great one. Let's see. Um, let's see here. Let's see. Oh, Lee said, Ken Michaels, we all miss you. We will tell him that. But Patrick Sweden said that he hopes Andy will be back on Talk More Talk in the future. Well, I think absolutely we would love to have you back.
Thank you,
It was
Patrick. Thank
fun.
you. Thank you. Talk more talk.
But you're gonna
Absolutely.
have to do Ringo shows.
Only Ringo shows.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'll watch then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you.
Absolutely. Oh, someone's comparing. This is interesting. I'm assuming Crooked Boy comparing it to the end of the end and early days. Interesting.
Interesting.
Oh man, the end is his masterpiece.
I mean,
The end of
I
the
hadn't
end.
really thought of that. That's
Mm.
interesting. Let's see. And yes, Patrick said I'm looking forward to the full album of Country Ringo.
Oh wow. I cannot wait.
Oh, I'm so excited. That's going to be
Yeah.
really
Yeah. We'll
great.
have Andy on for that one.
Yes, do that.
Country Ringo. Yeah.
I'm game.
Good.
I hope that happens. I hope Ringo said he was going to kind of do that.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
hope
mean,
it does.
I am psyched about that.
Well,
All right. Well,
thank
all
you.
right, everybody.
All
So
right.
let's I guess we can talk about as I flip my pad over here what we've been up to lately, and I'm going to start with me and get me out of the way. Usually I have nothing to say, but this time I kind of do, except that I don't know what I did here. Okay, I got it. All right. So for me on my channel on YouTube, Mean Mr. Mayo, I forgot to talk about this last time. There's a video
Mhm.
idea that I had that I'm proud of. I don't know if the video came out as well as I'd hoped, but back on April 5th, we were celebrating, or some people were, about how the Beatles had the top five songs on Billboard in 1964. Ooh, what an achievement that was! And I made a video trying to debunk it. And this is me being completely objective about a band that I love, of how it wasn't such a. It's a reason why they had advantages, or why they were able to do that, and why it's never been duplicated. So I made a video about that. It was back on around. Yeah, it was on April 5th. I did it on the day. So check that out on my channel. Why I think, yeah, it's nice to see, but my reasoning as to why they were able to pull it off, it was unique, as unique. Nobody else had I don't think. And then I have a new series. Some people are watching it that I'm trying to think of the right title. I'm calling it Beatles Unboxings. I met a guy, Mike, and he's an amazing, fanatical Beatles collector, and he's got tons of Beatles stuff, rarities, memorabilia. He's been collecting his whole entire life. He's in his 60s. And during COVID, he actually ordered a lot of eBay items and has them in boxes still and hasn't opened them. So he's got like these freaking boxes all over his place. And he can't remember what he bought or when. And every day the mailman brings something else from eBay. And the idea is to get together in this video series, Beatles Unboxings, and he will open something and see what he got, which should be a lot of fun. I was recently on Canadian Stud Muffin's channel. That's Larry Graves, Canadian Stud Muffin, did a show where we ranked me and also Beatley Tone from Beatley Tone's Beatles channel and Larry. We all ranked 26 solo Paul McCartney songs, but from his album's first track on the album, whatever the first track was, we wrote down the 26 songs, and then we went from least favorite to most favorite tracks over. That's on Canadian Stud Muffin. And finally, I'll just give a little plug for my movie channel, which is dead in the water right now. I'm not doing anything with it. Uh, Still thinking about taking those videos at the movie channel and moving them over to my main Mean Mr. Mayo channel. Whatever, I don't know. For now, the channel is called Mayo's Movie Mayhem, which is a mouthful. Mayo's Movie Mayhem. And one thing that we do is Tom Hunyadi usually joins me on Wednesday evenings, if we can, if he can, and we do a live show where we discuss movies and television over on Mayo's Movie Mayhem on Wednesday nights. So it's live at 9 p.m. Eastern. So anyway, that's it. Now, usually I don't have much to say. That time I had a bunch of things.
You had a lot of news.
I'm going to start including everything.
There
So,
you go.
All right. So let's go with Kit next.
Okay, well, first of all, you can find us here on Talk More Talk, of course, right here on this channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and we're trying to hit the big 2,000. So please keep subscribing. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. We want to get up to that big number. So please do that. You can also find us on virtually any podcasting platform. You can find us on Facebook. And if you hit the like button on our page, you'll be notified of all upcoming episodes. You can also email us at talkmoresolotalk@gmail.com. Please let us know feedback. If you have ideas for future episodes, please let us know. You just might find an idea for in a future show. You can find us on Twitter, talkmoretalk1, the number 1, and you can find us on the web at talkmoretalk.com. So those are all the places you can find us. Now, for me, you can find me. There's actually a couple new episodes of Toppermost of the Poppermost, our April 1964 episodes, actually 2 of 3 parts of the UK charts and US charts. We call them side A, B, C. We had to go to C this month because we had so much to cover. Sides A and B are up, and the Beatles have now fully taken over the US and UK. It's official. And but we talk not only about the Beatles, but as we mentioned at the top of the show, we talk about their other bands that were on the charts at the same time, those that have direct connections to them and those who influenced them. It's a great show. We have a lot of fun doing it. So please do check us out. The links are on my Facebook page as well as Talk More Talks. My class, the final class in the British Invasion series I'm doing starts May 9th. There are only a few spots left. So if you're going to take my class, you might want to enroll really, really, really soon. It's about what I call the third wave of the British Invasion, which is punk and new wave, even covering a bit of British ska, and synth pop. So it's really fun, 70s, 80s, and beyond. So
you're comping the tickets for us to get in that, right, Queen?
yeah, yep. You can talk to Ken Womack. He's the man. He's the man to talk to about that. And so I'm in the midst of preparing right now. It's going to be a great class. So it meets starting May 9th. And so I've got the registration information on the pages as well. I'm also going to be, along with our good buddy Ken, co-hosting on May 8th, May 7th. May 7th, the Tuesday Night Record Club at Monmouth, and I will have information on registering that, and that's free. We're going to be talking about Hard Day's Night album. And yeah, that's going to be fun. Really looking forward to that. That is absolutely free. That's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and we'll take you through that album. And finally, I guested recently on, if Ed Shen is still here, on his show When They Was Fab. We talked about the Around the Beatles TV special. A lot of fun. So do check out that episode on the When They Was Fab page, and I also have that link up on my page. Joe, were you gonna?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That reminded me. That's something that we didn't think about. Did you see that there's brand new footage out, color footage of Around the Beatles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Heard about that.
And
Very
Ready
cool.
Steady Go as well.
Mhm.
It's whole movie footage in
Again,
color.
you know, people finding things in their bread box or their attic. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you're
What the
getting.
heck?
Yeah.
Something going
I got
on here.
nothing
Everybody's
in my
finding
attic.
stuff in their attics and their stuff in their basements now in the last year. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I've got nothing. Nothing.
Or their garage, as they say over there.
Garage.
That's
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
baby.
yeah.
That's as Elton sings.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right. So I'm sorry, kid.
Oh no, I'm done. That was
done?
it.
Okay. Yep. Well, now we have Tom and Andy. Now, I'm just saying, if you guys have anything together you could talk about relating to Two Legs, be my guest, and then talk about your own side things that you have, if anything.
All right. Well, Two Legs. I mean, listen, we're like less than 20 away from getting to that 2K subscriber on our channel. So thank you to all the new subscribers and everybody that comments on the shows. We really appreciate it. Our last episode we dropped is about the transcripts from the Stephen Gaines and the Peter Brown book. Now, look, not everything in this book is in the Love You Make book, but you know what? There's a lot of interviews that they conducted in from 79 to 81.
81. Yeah,
81, and a lot of, I mean, Ringo, George, Maureen. I mean, how many interviews out there are of Maureen? So
or even transcripts with Brian Epstein.
Yeah, exactly. So we covered the transcript from the McCartney interview, obviously. So we talked about that,
which is one of the most significant pieces of the whole book. It's like 40 pages. The McCartney interview. Yeah, exactly. Some interviews in that book are a page or two, but Paul's interview piece is long.
Right, as it should be.
Right.
But we talked about this book, the latest Luca book. We're reading that now, so you can expect Luca Prazzi to be back on our show talking. And there's something really, really cute that he did.
Chapter 2
is I don't know if you can see that, but it has
move it over. Two legs, wings smashed to pieces.
Oh, cute!
Thank you, Luca.
Thank you, Luca. But yeah, he'll be back on the show talking about this, and then his future projects as well. So we look forward to that. We're also going to be doing a show here soon involving one of the secret shows. Andy, right? If you want to talk about that real quick.
Right, we're going to do a show with James and Tom Liverani, fans of all of our shows. We've met at the fest, and Joe Mantaneo. All four of us were at the secret pop-up show at the Highland Ballroom in New York City in 2007 when Paul did those secret Memory Almost Full pop-up shows. And we all queued up and waited all night to get tickets before I even knew those guys. They were there. We're going to do a show on that in May with those three guys and me and Tom as well, and which was really cool. It was a great experience, and we were all there. So that'll be a really cool show for May for us, for Two Legs.
Right, and we'll do another show concentrating on the iconic song series.
Yep.
We're also going to do a show on this, the one hand clapping. As you can see, Andy and I have been modeling the new wear, Macca wear throughout the show. Now, I'm sure Stella McCartney had nothing to do with these shirts, or but or this, they wouldn't have been affordable. That's for sure.
That's right.
But we'll be on the lookout for shows on One Hand Clapping, another episode in the iconic song series as well. So busy.
Yeah, very busy, and we have a lot cooking, and we might pop up live here and there. We've been live the last. We've gone live a little bit. The last April was a hot month for us, obviously, with all the Beatle activity and stuff, and Record Store Day and One Hand Clapping. So we went live quite a bit, which was nice to hop on because we don't get a chance to do that as often, just given our schedules. So we were able to do that a lot this past month, which we really enjoyed. So look for our first news show, which will be episode number 246, which will drop on the 11th of May. So you go back to our normal rotation of taking the first weekend off, and we'll be back on the second Saturday of May for Two Legs.
Yep. There you go.
You're muted, Joe. Oh, you're muted.
Okay, we're all good?
Yep, we're all good.
Okay.
One little thing we forgot about.
Oh,
we have to wish a very happy birthday to Klaus Vorman.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Who I believe is 83 today.
Oh,
wow.
Wow, he's a great guy.
Happy
birthday, Klaus.
Happy birthday, Klaus.
Yes.
And okay, that's good news. So anyway, thank you all for being here, and this has been a lot of fun. Andy, I'm glad you were able to come up today.
Thank you for the invite. Talk more talk.
Okay, so on behalf of Kiddo 2, Tom Hagnotti, and Andy Nicholes, I'm Joe Mayo saying, come on, folks, let's stand up, rise above the rain, start a revolution, but gentle one in these dark days, because the weather was beautiful today, and I've had enough of February sky. Come on, summer.